a play called I Have a Dream in honor of Black History Month and those that have made a difference and an impact in the culture and history. Stay tuned. We're going to hand it over to the narrator of this amazing play.
God be praised. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, the presentation will now begin. I Have a Dream. The timeline of the civil rights movement spans from 1954 to 1964. In the United States of America, a nonviolent, mid-century freedom movement gaining legal equality, enforcement, and constitutional rights for people of color. Our play begins in the home of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, a preacher of the gospel and civil rights movement leader. Reverend King and his wife Greta are having a discussion about the struggles of the civil rights movement and the importance of equality. They also expressed concerns about the future of their children.
For Rita, you know, I've been deeply concerned about our future and what is in store for our children. You know, lately the weight of uncertainty has been pressing heavily upon my heart. What do you think, though, of our children will face?
That's a tough question, Martin. As parents, it's our responsibility to prepare our children for the future. We must equip them with the necessary skill sets, values, and resilience to venture into this unknown. I too have been thinking about our children's future and the challenges that they too will face. Will they have the same access to education, healthcare, and equal opportunities? But I believe if we keep on praying, if we keep on pushing, if we keep on pressing for equality and justice, they will have a brighter future.
I'm telling you, Carita, the system is designed slowly to keep us oppressed.
I know, Martin, I know.
It's not fair, Carita, it's not fair. Aren't we a human being too? Don't we possess feelings, emotions, and desires? Don't we have the right to live a life that is free from oppression, injustice, and inequality? Shouldn't we be able to breathe freely and walk freely with dignity and to live a life without discrimination? We are not asking for a special treatment or privilege. We are demanding the same fundamental rights and freedoms that others take for granted. I am so tired of seeing our people being treated like second-class citizens.
I know you're tired, Martin, but we just can't give up now. Can't you see the light at the tunnel?
You know, I've been thinking, what if we organize a march on Washington? I can't imagine the impact that this march will have.
That's a brilliant idea, Martin. What about we inviting the women's organization? Can you imagine what the impact that they too will have on this march?
Marita, we have to remember, though, they are watching us. We have to be extremely careful. But we will not fear or allow fear to stop us, though, because God did not give us that spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind.
But you know, on second thought, Martin, Your message of love and equality is indeed inspiring and resonates well with the masses. But I've been thinking about your safety. I have been thinking about the family's safety. Because these threats, Martin, is becoming ridiculous each day. We cannot take it lightly.
Don't worry, my dear Corita. With faith in our hearts and God's guidance, these threats will never prevail. With conviction and our commitment for justice, we will overcome the dangers and arise above them.
Young Yolanda is playing quietly in the living room when she overhears her parents' discussion about the civil rights movement. Yolanda then immediately rushes off to gather her siblings, Martin III, Dexter, and Bernice.
Guys, guess what?
What's that?
I just heard Mommy and Daddy talking, and it was something very important.
So, what is it? What's going on?
You know, I'm not sure, but it had something to do with the system and being oppressed and things like that. And they also talked about being very careful because they are watching us.
They're watching us. Who is they? And why are Mommy and Daddy worried?
I don't know who they are, but it seems very dangerous. So we have to be very careful.
On the morning of August 1963, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King sat in his study, pouring out over the speech he had been working on tirelessly. As he looked up, the love of his life, his wife Coretta. She walked in and their eyes met. As his wife and confidant, Coretta was always been a source of strength throughout his career.
Corita, this is the day, Corita, the day that we will all have, that we all was waiting for. This is the day, Corita.
Martin, you know you have my blessings in whatever you do. You have worked so hard, so tirelessly for this day. Martin, know that the Lord has entrusted you with a powerful gift that will tear down segregation and build the bridge for a brighter future for equality and justice. And guess what, Martin? I believe that you are the modern day Nehemiah.
On August 28, 1963, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his Ionic I Have a Dream speech during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. This historic speech called for civil rights economics, an end to racism, a future where people would be judged by their character and not by the color of their skin. Dr. King's speech was carefully divided into two parts. The first highlighted injustices faced by African Americans, which include segregation, police brutality, and discrimination. Second part envisioned a future of peace, racial harmony, and equity. We now present to you, I Have a Dream.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the Negro is still not free. Now is the time to make justice a reality. For all of God's children.
Tell them about the dream, Martin.
I have a dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will arise up and live out its creeds. All men, all creation are created equal. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where there will be no judge by their colors, but by the contents of their character. I have a dream today. Let freedom rise from every mountainside, and when we all when we allow freedom to rise, we will allow it to rise from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, both black man and black white woman, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands together and sing the word of the whole Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Great God Almighty, we are free, free at last.
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's speech was a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement that helped to secure passages of the Civil Rights Act. And the passing of this act, it occurred in 1964. This landmark legislation ended segregation and banned workplace discrimination based on one's race and sex. Interestingly, King's speech was not entirely scripted. It was improv for the famous "I Have a Dream," shouted halfway through the speech by Mahalia Jackson, and she shouted, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." The day before Martin Luther King was assassinated, he gave a speech entitled, "I Have Been on the Mountaintop," in Memphis, Tennessee. The speech was given on April 3rd, 1968. At the Bishop Charles Maple King Hotel, he delivered the speech in support of the striking sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King became an icon throughout the United States of America. A federal holiday has been dubbed in his honor. The United States, in the year 1983, was the first observance of Martin's Day, and it became a federal holiday in 1986, celebrated on the third Monday of each January. We thank you for joining us today on this presentation, the EBMS cast and crew. We appreciate your time and your attention to the I Have a Dream, a tribute to Black History Month. Cast and crew are as follows. Playing Yolanda, we have exhorter Peter Gay Pinnock. Dexter, played by Deacon Rob McCray. Coretta King, missionary Shernette Lee. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, played by exhorter Samato Pennant. Narrator, Minister Christine Allen. EBMS presents I Have a Dream, written by missionary Shernette Lee, produced and directed by Deacon Rob McCray and missionary Shernette Lee. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, and a big God bless you for joining us today.